500 years ago, dragons and men used to live in perfect harmony. They would live in villages built just for them and live to the rules made by mankind. They would fight side by side until something changed all of that. Deep in the hearts of the Forbidden Mountains, a strange shadow falls. Darkness that will rule these lands forever. The darkness rises and the dragons grow apart from the humans, and larger the darkness grows, the greater are humans, forced to kill the dragons that burn their villages down. And there is only one person who believes in restoring back peace between dragons and men, and that is I, RarestEmerald. I came to these lands 10 days ago, only to find out that things had become worse. What would change in all of them? What would change in all these dragons? I knew that there were dragons out there who were less harmful than others, but most of them were rogue. Then 500 years ago there was Serene. What can I do to change all of that? And before I continue on this epic adventure, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Every adventure here is an epic one, and we don't want you to miss out on the fun. So make sure you do that. Now let's head on into the overworld. Ah, what a bright day in the desert it is. It's a great time to do some fishing, some time to myself, to gather my thoughts and think about what's going on here. Here's a great spot. And so, I fished for a while and managed to get myself a shark and 2 electric eels. I did that till the sun set, and I was surely hoping to get some more good catch, but time was running out and I had to get back home. And all of a sudden, there was something in the water. I wanted to see what it was, and so I approached it naturally. It looked like a 2-headed water dragon. It said nothing, but swam near the shore. I didn't know what it wanted. Maybe fishing here wasn't such a good idea at all. Once I had caught something else, which of course turned out to be a crab, I started to head back home. The sun was setting fast, and before I knew it, night had fallen, and it was becoming incredibly dark. I pulled out my torch and started to walk in the darkness. It's such a beautiful spot. This cliff overlooks the horizon. Wait, what was that? I saw a fireball whoosh into the air. There was a rainbow dragon there and it was firing all the shots. But what was it firing at? Was it firing at me? I didn't want to find out. I went down the cliff and found myself a cave where I could probably find some good ores. But I found none and just headed out. When I exited, I saw I was greeted by the undead. These lizard creatures were everywhere. The Garden Empire, or whatever they called themselves, were waiting until disaster rose again. It's a new dragon, and a green one this time. And just as I was admiring it, I was snuck up. I ran away from the danger, not wanting to get caught up in the middle. I had to get to safety wherever that was. But once I had healed up and made myself a new shield, I headed back. And I saw the new dragon just sleeping there. It was a drake dragon. I recognized it from the books I had seen when I was young. The lizards were surrounding him, but I knew he was well looked after. There was a Stormcutter, the guardian of all dragons, right after the legendary Bewilder Beast.
There is a large disturbance in the west. You must go and venture.
A disturbance? In the west? What do you mean? But before the dragon could answer, I was attacked by a baby zombie. I took him down easily and looked to the dragon for answers.
Legend has it that the disturbance lies there. disturbance and all answers.
I didn't know what he meant, but I would venture on later when I was ready. And when the sun rose, I saw the baby rainbow dragon just flying in the air, enjoying what freedom it had. Then I saw the guardian and a fire dragon. On my previous visit, I had been introduced to them, and I knew them as dragons who did no harm and who only wanted peace. I found myself in a mine and decided to get more resources like coal and iron. I literally spent a lot of hours just mining, but I did come out really satisfied with what I had found. And when I came out, I found that the sun was setting. It was such a spectacular and epic view. The fog was rising, and in no time at all, the moon had risen as well. I kept on wandering and gathered some wood, and when I came into the desert, I saw this dragon. And just when I looked behind me, a creeper blew up, but I was pretty much safe. I ate a golden apple and approached onwards with so much caution. There were so much lizards and creepers, and it was then when I saw the rainbow dragon again. I offered it a golden apple, and I didn't know whether it meant peace or not. It was right near my village, and what if it burned the whole place to the ground? With caution, I entered my village and saw the dragon fly into the air. If there was going to be a war, then I would be ready, but completely outnumbered. So, I saw this creeper just standing there, and then I heard an explosion. When I looked around, I saw a Tigris Dragon just flying away, and to my surprise, there was a different rainbow dragon on the top of the Watchtower. What did he want? This was not a good sign at all. Did it want all of my sheep? And to my dismay, I rushed over, wondering if there was any sheep missing, and thankfully there was none. I just watched the dragon fly away into the night. And when morning rose, I went into my fence full of sheep, just to tend to their everyday needs, and then I heard explosions. They were coming from everywhere. I looked around. There was maddening panic. The Tigris Dragon was here, spraying its flames all over the sheep and myself. In the moment of desperation, I abandoned the sheep and got myself out of there. I barely made it alive, and I knew that the dragons would be out there. This was their plan all along, to have me with the sheep. Was hunger making them go all crazy? As the previous rainbow dragon had told me, that had to be the case. Now the Tigris Dragon was still out there, but I didn't know where. It was still in the village, amidst the houses. I was going to fight it, but to fight it, I needed proper precision and skills. I had 3 golden apples and 2 fire-resistant potions. But where was the dragon? And alas, I saw the Tigris Dragon just there. I needed a good tactic. All the villagers here seemed panicky, and of course they had a good reason for that. I found my way into my house. My baby dragons had no idea what was going on. I fed them real quick to make sure they wouldn't starve. After that, I walked outside and saw the Tigris Dragon. I took a bite out of the golden apple and a sip out of the fire resistance potion. This meant war. I gave it a swipe with my sword, and the dragon instantly hurt a villager. One more hit and I was on fire. There were explosions everywhere, literally. A sound which is actually more scary than concerning. I went into the water and came out again. I didn't have a good strategy, and I knew my fire resistance wouldn't last very long at all. Eating another golden apple, I went on to fight with it further. I gave him another swipe, and I got flamed again. I ran a distance back. There were explosions again. I gave him another hit, and with a few hits, he was down. Though badly burnt, the village was safe. Even my armor was wrecked, but I was happy now that the dragon was out of my village. I entered my house, making sure to feed Stormy and Spike again. It was raining hard, but that did not stop me from grouping up some more sheep. And right after I rounded them up, I bred them. It was going to be a really long winter ahead of me, and I needed the meat to keep myself and my dragons alive. At this point, I needed to level up. My armor was almost broken, but I would take care of that later. My meteorite tools were good, but I needed something better. So I crafted myself a halberd and an iron-strengthened bow. And upon taking a look outside, I could see that the rain was pouring harder than ever, and it was getting incredibly dark. But it made me wonder what else was out there, except this small plot of land and desert. That's why I set my mind on making a nature's compass. What was a nature's compass? It was a compass which would open up boundaries for me. What it allowed me to do was to find biomes that I wished to find. This would be really useful if I wanted to find a dragon of some sort. And I had a mind to find the legendary bewilderbeast. And if not that, then a night fury and a light fury. I set the course of the compass to the deep ocean biome. Now the sun was setting, and I started to head in that way the compass was pointing. And just as I walked further, I saw the yellow-horned rainbow dragon. It seemed friendly enough.
Be careful where you head. Your blood is the most wanted in these lands.
And that was right by all means, and I had to keep out of sight. Just as the sun set and the moon rose, I started to head in the direction I intended to go. I encountered a creeper, and there were lizards everywhere. No trouble came to me at this point, and I was pretty much safe. But just as I put my boat in the water, I saw a shark. No way! And it was coming for me. Terrified, I started to sail. The only problem was, Minecraft got super laggy from that point on. And just as I swam a bit more further, things became fine. The shark wasn't anywhere to be seen. I kept on following my compass until of course I saw land. This was not my destination, but this was a new place with new territory, and I just had to explore it. Maybe I could find new dragons and maybe an explanation to all this madness. I found a few crabs, and this land, which I thought was an island, wasn't really an island at all. It was huge, with a new structure that looked like a temple. The night was getting cold and eerie, and there were distant sounds of unfamiliar creatures. They sounded like bugs. And just as I walked a bit more further, I saw this. It was huge and volcanic. Before I had any time to think about my actions, I was confronted by this creature. It was a scorpion rider, and it could tunnel through the ground. I ran for my life, hoping that my fate wouldn't be decided on how laggy my Minecraft gameplay was. I did manage to escape alive, thankfully, but these undead creatures wouldn't leave me alone. That wasn't a problem, however, I took them out one by one. I definitely was going to call this the Devil's Island. And here was the temple I was talking about. But alas, there was another scorpion rider. It came out of the ground and up again. I walked back and saw a red dragon just hanging out by the shore. And then this dragon. And I knew this type of dragon cause this was the same type of dragon which had burnt my sheep to a crisp. except this one was white. I was definitely not going to cause it any trouble if I could avoid it. And after exploring the island a bit more, it became day, and I knew that things didn't look as they seemed. This island was definitely cursed, and if my calculations were right, there ought to be a village around here, and I was right. I started to explore the village and the houses, and I spotted this nadder. It was white, and I knew that this was a rare skin. And on exploring this village a bit more, I found loads of good stuff. I found food, iron, coal, and I talked with the villagers too.
Stranger, why have you come here?
I'm just an explorer, and I mean you no harm.
Well, you'll never make it out of here alive.
The villagers for sure seemed to be panicky about the whole situation, and I could feel their grief. Living on an island close to that volcanic mess must be quite stressful for sure. The sun was setting, and I was in the village by that time trying to find good stuff. And guess what? I found a few more diamonds. Then I saw the scorpion riders in the village. I didn't know how much time I had until they came for me. Gathering as much food as I could, I hurried up into the Watchtower, where I found myself loads of arrows that definitely would be handy later on. The night seemed peaceful, however. There didn't seem to be any signs of disturbances, but I did hear some strange sounds from the volcanic mountains. Something didn't feel right. Uneasy and not wanting to head on into the darkness, I slept there for the night until morning rose. And being the explorer as I was, I finally decided to head on into that temple-like structure where eventually I would find a new dragon egg. And when I entered, I found this dragon egg just there in the center of the room. What was it though? I had to throw out something from my inventory to find out. And there it was, an Aztec dragon. Sounds pretty ancient, right? And I didn't see any dragons like this, did I? If this was the nest, where was the mother dragon? Well, wherever she was, I wasn't going to stay for very long to find out. I quickly got out of there and yeah, I saw a scorpion rider. I knew it was waiting for me. Before long, before the sun had set, I made my way back to my village, where everything seemed peaceful. It was good to be back home. The villagers seemed fine, and I knew that they didn't have any disturbances with the dragon when I was gone. I went into my house to store as much items as I could in my chest. I also tried putting in an Aztec egg in the lava incubator. Yeah, not gonna work. I had to find ice and fast. Now, in the midst of the chaos, I couldn't find Stormy or Spike anywhere. I tried to summon Stormy to my call, and there she was, sleeping at my feet. Aw, wasn't she so cute? Now, where did Spike get off to? And not before long, I found him as well. Stormy and Spike did make great friends, and this was going to take me a lot of time to get them inside again. But finally, I did manage it. I fed them and got them to sleep. They were just babies, and I missed them so much. When they were asleep, I got some shut-eye as well. And what do you know, they woke up as well. But when I tried to leave the house, Stormy wanted to come along with me. I had to ask her to stay inside for her own good, but she just wouldn't listen. And I had a trick up my sleeve. As soon as I gave her breakfast, I exited before she even knew I was gone. I only slipped out for a little while, however, to check on the sheep. They were doing fine on their own. When I went inside, I decided to upgrade my shield to a diamond shield. I could definitely afford it. It was simply magnificent. I could even bash victims with only my shield. How cool was that? Before it was too late in the day, I decided to go exploring again. Again, hopefully not too far. When I went sailing in my boat, I came across swamplands and saw the white nadder again. Perhaps it was a new one, and I saw this red dragon as well. I kept my distance all the same, and I was stunned when I saw that I had found a flower forest which was right next to the swamp. I didn't enter, however, because I wanted to see what was in the forest, and I explored. And I'm glad I did. I found a blue ace dragon just sleeping its night off under the shade. I had heard that ace dragons were preferred over other dragons for beginners, and I really wanted to find one as well, though I didn't know where exactly to look. Hoping to find a nest somewhere nearby, I scanned the land further, and I didn't find any, but I found sheep, got lots of wool and mutton. When I had felt that I had overstayed my visit, I decided to go to look for an ice plane. Yeah, getting a big wildebeest egg was gonna be my next priority. And if I didn't find an egg, but I found an ice plane, then I could make myself an ice incubator. All the more, it's a win-win situation for myself. And by the afternoon of the next day, I had sailed far out into the ocean. I saw loads of new land, other than the water, but I didn't explore them. However, this island did catch my eye, and I thought it was worth exploring. Look at this place! It's so different from the rest. And there was an ocean monument underneath it as well. What does this thing do? And yeah, it was too late to undo my actions. Right after I interacted with that structure, a giant crab just came crawling out of nowhere. With my iron halberd and my shield, I knew that this was going to be, an easy fight. Before long, it was dead, and I didn't even take any hits. Sweet. It dropped something called a water essence, something that was used to change dragon breeds. Quite interesting, don't you think? Happy with that, I set off again, and guess what I found? Right here was an ice structure, which only meant one thing. There was bound to be a big wildebeest egg here somewhere, and I really wanted to find it. And by the time night had struck, I still had no luck in finding the egg. When I finally got home, I made the incubator, and I had no room to keep it in the house. And guess what I decided to do in the end? I needed a new house. This wasn't going to cut it. I really needed a larger place, and a place for all my dragons to live in as well in the future. And well guys, this brings us to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this series, then comment down below, or comment down anyways just to say hi. I hope this video was entertaining. If so, then like and subscribe to Block Hacker for videos like this. Also check out our various platforms we are on. We are everywhere. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Planet Minecraft, Reddit, and we've got a blog. Not to mention that we've officially opened a Minecraft survival server. We've hosted it on atenas.org for a start, and the server is still in the works. But you are free to join. We are also looking for moderators and admins to keep our server clean from griefers and scammers, and suggestions are open as well. If you've got some suggestions on how our content or our Minecraft server can do better, then join our Discord server and tell us there. All the social media and platforms mentioned can also be found in the description of this video. So yeah guys, that's it. This was super fun, and again, I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you in the next one.